Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and greetings, alishanmao here and welcome to my little man cave. Eachine Airloader in the background, and I'm sure you have watched my maiden flight testing video of Eachine Airloader that I did with a single motor pusher configuration without any flight controller, total manual. Now I have had about 5 or 6 flights so far on this pusher motor, a single motor configuration on Eachine Airloader, and I can tell you every time I put this plane in the air, it simply amazes me with its flight capabilities and its flight performance. I can easily say that we are barely scratching the surface when it comes to true potential and true capabilities of Eachine Airloader and its amazing design as an ultra long range FPV RC airplane. Now, in this video, as requested, I'm going to build a twin motor configuration because that's what people want to watch me fly and test the twin motor configuration on Eachine Airloader. Now, rather than strapping 2 motors on this one and installing 2 ESCs and easily soldering the connectors on, specialized connectors right there, I thought it would be a good idea to take a brand new Eachine Airloader kit and build it from beginning, showing you all my gears, what I'm using, servos, motors, ESCs, propellers and everything else, and build it as a twin motor configuration. And that is what you're going to watch in this video. Once the twin motor configuration is ready, you'll watch my flight testing videos, and once the twin motor configuration flight testing is done, I will have plenty of choices to test single motor configuration with flight controller and FPV system, and a twin motor configuration with flight controller and FPV system. There's a lot to test on this. As I said, we are barely scratching the surface here when it comes to true potential and true capabilities of this ultra long range FPV aircraft. What I did, I went ahead and made a new playlist on my YouTube channel where you can watch all the videos of Eachine Airloader, all the testing I'm doing, all the flights I'm going to do, all the FPV flights, flight endurance, and much more testing that I'm going to do. You can watch everything in one playlist. Enough said, let's get to work. Let's prepare the new kit as a twin motor configuration. Okay, excuse the mess on my little table right here. This is the brand new kit of Eachine Airloader as you will receive it. I also have 2 motor mounts. However, I believe the factory was kind enough to send me 2 of the motor mounts with 2216 1300 kV motors already installed. So all I need to do is just, glue these on the wings. However, I'm thinking that I want to use the setup that personally I choose the setup of 2216, also 2216 motor, dash 8 kV 1252. So 1250 kV, 1300 kV, not much difference. So I would probably just go with my setup because I want to see how easy it is to install a brand new motor on these motor mounts. Okay, and if there's any trouble or any issue I'm getting in, I can always use that to make my life easier because the motors are already installed. I just need to glue them. But again, I want to see how easy it is to install new motors on those motor mounts. And we'll go with that build. We'll go with the flow. Also, I have here the Race Star servos. I got these at a very good deal on Banggood. They were like 6 servos in one pack. This is Race Star MG90S micro servo, and they claim this is a Metal Gear servo. I'm not sure if it is digital, but they claim it's a Metal Gear servo, which I can see that there's metal here. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the Race Star servos. I have 4 servos here, and I have basically 3 Sunny Sky motors right here as well. The same 2216-8 kV 1250. And for the ESCs, I found these small ESCs that will fit in the wing where they have given a specialized place for the ESCs. These are small enough to fit there. These are Hobbywing Platinum Pro 30 amp opto ESCs. There's no BEC in there, so I have to run a U-back. But it makes life easier because instead of soldering 3 cables, now I can just solder 2 cables on the wings specialized connectors. And this is where I can answer another question, because a number of people have raised this as an issue that there isn't enough space to solder the connectors or cables properly. Now, it does look a small and cramped place, but to me, I really don't like to make assumptions if it is good or not until I get into it using a soldering iron, and I will see if it is really easy or not to solder the cables on these specialized connectors or not, and if there are any issues, if I'm burning the foam. I might, because my hands sometimes shake now, I'm getting old. So you will watch that very clearly in this video. I'm gonna show you honestly everything, if it's easy to solder connectors on this or not. So I'm gonna install servo for the aileron, for which already one connector is soldered, and I'm gonna solder the connector, the cables for ESCs on this, and I'm also gonna solder the XT60 connectors and install them here in the wing and on the fuselage, so you can watch that. And you can also watch that at fuselage side specialized connectors, I have to solder more cables and more connectors to connect the ESCs to my flight controller or receiver. So there is a good amount of work to do, but not that much. I believe it's gonna be fun, and prepare it as a twin motor kit. Was very easy for me to install the motors, and I did my best not to over tighten the screws tight enough, not over tighten, because they are going into the wooden plate and you don't want them to come loose, because these are the pulling motors, okay? They are not pusher. In pusher motors, you know, there are exceptions, but in pulling motors that pull, you don't want to make mistakes right there. So motors installed properly, and I feel these cables are slightly longer, but still I will find a way to tuck them in after the motor mounts are installed. Now next I'm going to do is the installation of servos. There are 4 servos to install, and I'm gonna do other easy tasks. So for those I'm going to just make a time lapse, and you can see in a fast forward view how I'm doing. So those steps are, I can explain: installing this rudder, installing the elevator and rudder servo, adding these fins. Now, according to my test flight, the rudder response is just amazing, and you actually don't need them. However, I would still like to keep them here because I want to test some vortex generators on those, and also it is the part of the design, so why not have extra rudder authority and better control on rudder rather than having something less. Okay, so this will be this, and after that, installation of servos on the wings. Okay, and then I will glue the motors on the wings as well. These are my next steps, which are easy steps, and I would like to do them in a time-lapse view so you can see how things are going. Now when it comes to important stuff, that is soldering the cables to specialized connectors, soldering cables and connectors on these connectors on the fuselage side, I will do a standard video, non-time lapse, so you can see everything clearly. Okay, so the easy tasks are done, and now it's time to go for the critical parts, for which I don't want to do time lapse. so the people can watch clearly what is going on. Motors are installed, nice and secure. Now it's time to install the ESC and solder the connectors. Cables to the specialized connectors on this one. As you can see, I had to slightly cut the foam to fit my ESC in here nicely. Now it fits really nice. I can cut the foam a bit more to tuck the cables in very neat and nice, which we'll do later, because after connecting the motor to ESC, I might need to swap the cables in order to rotate the motor clockwise and counterclockwise. On the twin motors, you should know that you have to rotate one motor clockwise and one counterclockwise. So now I cut this cable, the power cable of ESC, which will go in here and connect to XT60 connector, and after that I will hot glue the XT60 connector here after I have done the soldering. And I have also cut the signal cable, which in case of opto ESC you just have white for signal and ground. I can connect the ground on the existing ground cable, but I want to keep my setup neat and clean, so I'm gonna solder one of these cable on one of these pin. One is ground and one is signal. I have to remember which cable is going where, and actually I can always start from the left side as well. I have plenty of choices for these empty pins, so wherever it's actually nice and easy, I'll just solder it there and leave 3 of the pins for flap servos should I want to go for the flap servo ever. Okay, right now I don't feel the need of that, but if I wanted to. The soldering job starts. I need to take out these connectors very carefully. I can pull it out without damaging the foam or anything else in there. This one seems to be glued really nicely. Okay, there you go. I have only 3 pins soldered here. Now this one is from the left side. Oh, sorry, yeah, from the left side of fuselage. And this is going to be my left wing, and I can always plan ahead that if the connector is this way, coming into this, well, it actually fits really nice. I will have the next 2 pins soldered after the black, so all I need to do is decide which one is white and which one is black. I can start with the black and then white, and here I can do the same black and white. It will be easy to remember, okay, because black will be next to black. I can always, as I said, solder to the black as well, but I want to keep it clean and neat. So black, white, black, white. It will make sense and will be easier to remember for me as well. Easy job to pull it out. And we'll see how difficult it would be to, put back 2 more extension, one more extension cable, because I'll add 1 more extension cable. Now pushing 1 in is easier, but how difficult it would be to push 2 cables in, we'll find out. Well, it's always easy to, modify the foam. Okay, and I have to be very careful, because if I make mistake here, I'm gonna have to do a lot of work again. So I'm just gonna put these connectors on the wings for now, so I don't forget anything. Let me see, it was like this, nothing upside down. They actually fit very nice, and I don't think they will actually get loose over time. They fit very well. Okay, so this is the best setup I could do so far for soldering on this table, because with the size of the wings, it's really not possible to do it on that little place that I always do the soldering. So let's get things ready while my solder heats up. Soldering iron heats up. I will get things ready, get them tinned. Most important cables are the red and black. Should be right, because that's where the magic smoke appears if you didn't do that right. Okay, this is one. I just have one shot at it, so I don't want to make mistakes on this. I want to do it right. I want to do it right. I want to do it right. Because we have only one shot at it. So, here we go for the tinning. Good. So now I need to solder XT60 connectors on these. So let me get into the right position and making sure that the polarity is right. This is very, very, very important. So plus is red. Am I right? Yeah. The plus is red, baby. Here we go. Okay, so the red went very well. Now comes the black. And it becomes difficult if the cables are short, and these are really short ones. So I'll do my best to do it right. Done. So let's double check. Positive is red, negative is black. Okay, that is good. Now comes the second ESC, and I need a red and black heat shrink on that. And looks like a very good job. I'm really not very good in soldering actually, but I think I am doing my best right here. And this one first. That looks good. Double check. Red to positive and black to negative, and solder looks good. So the ESC side is done here. Now comes the wing part, where I have to, is my camera recording? Yeah, where I have to solder the ESC cables on the wing connectors. And these long ones, the other side, I mean these were the full-size connectors on ESCs. I didn't throw them because I will use them to connect ESCs to channels of my choice inside the fuselage. So they will be soldered on these outer connectors. So they will be soldered on these connectors, which will go inside the fuselage later. Okay. Now comes the most interesting part and most questionable part: how easy it is to solder your ESC or cables, extension cables for flap servos on this specialized connector. Let's find it out. First thing first, I found it was very difficult to slide this XT60 in to the supplied place right here in the wing. As you can see, I have shown you once again, you can see this area for XT60 connector. It was really difficult. So what I did was, I found that because this area is wider after soldering the cable, and original supplied area on the design area on the wing wasn't wide enough, so all I need to do is use my little carpet knife, okay, and cut it off. So now you can see that everything fits right, and I can, with a little help of a tool, I can slide the XT in. Okay, camera, are you on? Yes. Okay, so you're watching. It was very easy for me to slide in, and now it's actually flushed with the edges, I can simply push with my finger, push the XT60 forward, and using a flat surface, push it back in, flat surface of any tool, and now it's completely flushed with the edges, and I can easily hot glue it. I can hot glue the shit out of it because I really don't want this to move, okay? That will be the later part. Now the questionable part is how easy it is to solder these two cables here. I want to solder black next to this pin and white on this pin. Let me see, all the other pins looks good. Alright, so let's heat up our soldering iron and get to it. Obviously I don't want to burn the foam, so I have to be very careful, and let's see. I think this is enough space. If you know how to perform soldering properly. I'm not very good, once again, I'm really not very good at soldering, but I will do my best on this. I'm really not good with the tip soldering with the tip. Now, I can get my soldering iron tip easily in, and let's see if I can tin that pin there. Got one pin, got the other pin. Look at that, I got both of the pins tinned properly, and I didn't even touch the foam. That was easy, actually, easy part. And now I have to position this black cable there nicely. Okay, one moment, just there. No, it's going to the other pin. Hold on. Do the right soldering, please. Okay, got it. Black done, and here comes the white. Look, I'm getting old. My hands are shaking, man. Okay, good. That was super duper easy. And check this out. I did not even burn or touch the foam. So, question answered. Some people, they complained about it, that the designer left very little space, and how would you actually solder things on this connector, and this connector is useless, break it off, and blah blah blah. Well, people, you are watching the truth, right? I'm doing everything before your eyes. So those people who are complaining about this thing, I believe they need to shut up and start thinking with their head, in their right mind frame, and start thinking like a good FPV pilot, because a good FPV pilot will always find ways to do things right. Okay, now you can see I can easily tuck all the cables in. So one of my ESC is done. Now comes the part from the fuselage side. So wing side is done, fuselage side is going to be super duper easy, I believe. So let's just expose the cables and tin them. Going to quickly tin it. Okay, and now because I already have this connector here, the fuselage side, it should become easier to connect, to know which is black and which is red, not red, white. Now, because I'm a lefty, so I have to turn the wing around. Excuse me. Excuse moi for that. Okay, so now I have turned the wing around because I'm a lefty, I told you. And here's my tinned cable. And as I mentioned, now it's very easy to figure out which one is black and which one is white. And I can easily tin that. My hand is again shaking, people. Sorry, I'm really getting old. So black is near the black. Right there. white is on the white. Right there. Check the quality of my poor soldering. Yes, really hard. I can pull the whole connector out. Really hard and nice. This one is, I'm just double checking. This one is soldered nice. This black, let me see, is actually soldered very nice. Okay, so this side of wing is completed, and now I'm going to repeat the process and do the same to the other side of the wing. Now I have these two cables to slide in on the fuselage side on this connector, and my ESC and everything is already connected. I have to hot glue this XT60 hot glue here to tuck the cables in nicely and make sure the ESC is properly installed, doesn't come loose. After I put the cables in and make sure the motor is spinning in the right direction, then I will also make the ESC, permanent with the glue here. Okay, so this was first wing. Let's bring the other wing in, and I don't want to do time lapse here. I want to do it it's recording, yes. I want to just do it this way so you can see everything going on clearly, no hiding, no mixing or no lying here. So you can see everything as it goes, and you can see how easy it is for me to solder these things. So now tin it. One, two, okay. And sorry, where's the ESC? Right here is the ESC, and I have to cut this here. So let me just put the temperature down there, and I will show you what I did to fit the ESC in, because this cable is slightly bigger. So I'm just gonna cut carefully this area. Now obviously designer designed it on a computer and he didn't know what people are going to solder, so we should be ready to do this little bit of modification, cutting the foam. See how easy it was for ESC to get the XT60 in. Alright, and this is gonna go here. Now I have to turn the wing, sorry, lefty. I am a lefty. People used to call me Kabul in Pakistan. So the black is going to be black. Black is going to be next to that black right there. I hope I have not broke this one. So far looks good, actually, not broken. You have to make sure that this soldering actually is done nicely, and when you get it from factory, please do check these, because these little connectors, I mean these little cables solder on these connectors, sometimes the soldering can come loose once you're moving them up and down and break, and this will actually make your aileron connection not responding during flight if it is broken. You don't want that to happen. Okay, so here we go, and this is going to be like this. Let me just position the cable right. Right there. Don't burn my hand, please. I hope you can watch it. I just need to, because the wing is moving a lot, just need to make sure to let it reach there properly, and I just need to touch it once. See? Done? If your soldering iron is hot everything is right. You just need to touch it once and it will be there. So right there. No, that was wrong, didn't happen. Okay, one moment, didn't go right. Done. Oh, very nice, alhamdulillah. So this is this. I'm just gonna leave some slack here, and rest of the cable is gonna be tucked in here. So people, it's really piece of cake to solder things here. Honestly speaking, I don't see any problem here. I mean, it's really not good to just, you know, try to pick things based on your assumptions. First, I say first you should try to do it, and then you should make your conclusion if it is easy to do or not, or if this is a big issue. I know some people who are making this a big issue and they wanted to break it off. I mean, really, I did not expect this from those caliber of people. So this is this. That was very easy. Black and white soldered right here. My ESC connections are good. Now I have to match it right there. Again, I'm a lefty, so I'm gonna go and tin these two cables. I mean one tin. Now this side of connector is really super duper easy to do. I mean, you can see it. So where is that cable? Right here. Now which one is black? Black is next to the black. I just have to touch it once properly. There you go. Once again, let's try to do it right, and a strong one. Very good. And here comes the white one. Very good. You see how easy it was to solder all these pins, and as I mentioned before, this is just a little bit of extra work when you are preparing the plane, but once you have done it, you will know how your life is going to be easy, because after that all you need to do is just plug the wing in and out, and all your connections are going to be made automatically. I mean, everything will connect automatically. Okay, so this is done, and this also answers the doubts and questions from some very concerned people that this was a big problem. Obviously, it's not very easy to solder. I ran out of right cables in my main cave, so I came down to my woodworking workshop. Man, I miss woodworking. I gotta start again with woodworking. See, I have all the fancy tools. Look at that. I mean, I've got plenty of fancy tools here. I've got a lot of wood, so I gotta start with the woodworking again. And if you want to watch my woodworking projects, go check it out. I have a link in video description for my woodworking channel. So I found plenty of cables that I was looking for. Let's go up and continue with the airloader build. Alright, now that the wing side is done, it comes to the fuselage side. Now those specialized connectors, I will insert them and add glue later. But first let me talk about this ESC power side, that is XT60, that's gonna go and glue into the fuselage. And for that, one moment, I hope the camera is shooting right. Okay, for this I plan to have you know, this kind of settings, that here is female, and then will be two cables go in, and after that they will connect to or solder to a male XT60. So I have to get two male XT60 out. All right there. Now the thing that you need to notice, I'm going to use this 16 gauge cable, 16 AWG. I'm gonna solder it here on this XT60 female, which is going to be at the outer side of fuselage. And after that, I will slide the cables in, which you can see is very easy. And I will be able to solder the XT60 male plug. Now what I want to do is keep this cable long enough that it will come out here at this length in the fuselage, almost all the way half, and having to have an XT60 male plug. Both of the ESC's male plugs will be here, and all I need to do is one moment. And all I need to do is I had these connectors, parallel connectors, XT60 made long time ago, and they are still here. It was a time when I used to build customized drones for my clients. So all I need to do is connect one ESC here and one ESC there, and then connect battery here. This way I'll be powering both of the ESCs using one XT60 here and one XT60 here. And at the same time, with the specialized connectors, when the ESC cables come in, I will be able to join them by making a custom connector, which I will show you, and put them in channel 3 on a single channel, because I want to control both motors through a single channel. So having to have this, let's cut the cables, okay? And I plan to have it here. I don't want to stretch it. What I want to do is leave some slack. It's always a good idea to have something with more cable. It's always a good idea to have more cable, that's what I wanted to say, rather than running short on those cables. So now that I have this two cables, all I need to do is just match the length. There you go. So now I have this, and I'm going to do the soldering right away. Double check. Red on the positive, black on the negative, and I'm gonna check it with the wing right away. That's the wing. Ta-da! Good. Man, I'm getting good. I should do more soldering. Done. Now this is done. I need to add the heat shrink. I want to add the heat shrink. I hope that heat shrink is not going to bother this connector going in the fuselage and is staying there. Well, we're gonna find out right away. Okay, now comes the tricky part where I have to install things inside the fuselage. So let's test our length of our cable. So I'm gonna slide it in. And see if my heat shrink is a problem. No, heat shrink is not a problem, people. You can see it was very easy, and for me it's easy to solder an XT60 right here, the other part of XT60. So let's add this one as well. Remind you that I'm not adding any glue at the moment, because that's the part, the later part. And obviously there's also a question from a person which I would like to answer by showing things as they are happening. And the person says that normally the XT60 connectors, we all know, they sometimes fits really hard. So how easy it's gonna be to when this connector is on the wing and the wing comes in, and you can push it easily, obviously, no problem here. But what happens if you pull the wing out and the glue is not enough, or even the glue is enough if the XT60 connector is going to be pulled out or not. So we're gonna find that out very, very soon. So I plan to just do, you know, go with the EPO glue, also works on EPP, and some of the hot glue if needed, which I will do later, not now. So for now, let's just solder the other part of XT60 connector, okay? Oh, don't forget to put the heat shrink in advance. Okay. And now it should be piece of cake to solder red and black. So that was red, and here comes the black. Looks very good. Confirm. Red to red, red to positive and to black, red to positive and to black. You got to confirm this thing over and over and over again. Okay, you do not want to make a mistake there. So that was one. Now comes the second one. And honestly speaking, this is just piece of cake right here. You're watching it on the camera. How easy it is for me to install all these things. Heat shrink and this heat shrink. So you are watching it right here. I mean, I'm not a very professional, I'm not really very good with soldering, but the way I can do everything easily here, it clearly shows that the Eachine Airloader design and all the considerations taken to design this and bring the ease of work and ease of setup to FPV pilots for them to properly set their model the way they like. Okay, so red to red and red to red. I have to double check once again. Red to red, red to positive. All right, so these two are done, as I mentioned. Let me show you my plan once again. Okay, you can watch it. I hope camera is still shooting. Yes. So all my soldering is done. No more soldering required. And honestly speaking, it was very, very easy. Now let me show you as I planned. After I glue these connectors here. Now you see how life becomes easier. That I have this custom parallel connector. I can just connect this here. And this is going to power two ESCs via these connectors coming out of the fuselage at the outer part of the fuselage, and they will connect on the wing XT60 connectors. And then comes the other part, which we are going to do right away on the camera, and that is to bring the wing in. This is the left wing, yes. And now I'll take this connector, wing side connector, okay. And now comes the part to see if it is easy to slide things in or not, for which I see there's a nice hole right there, and I would like to just make it slightly opened, just like this. And goes one connector. Where is my tool? Give it to me. Push it in. There you go. Here comes another connector. Me dorky, when I was pushing it, I was pulling it at the same time. So you see, two of these connectors, they came in really nice and easy, and I believe, yeah, you have to match the side, okay? So let's just double check. All right, if it connects like this, ESC signal is connected and the aileron servo is connected. 2 aileron and 2 ESC signal, black to black, white to white, black to black, white to white, red, black, red, white, black, red, white. Everything is El Perfecto right here. So you know which orientation your connector will go in, and that is right here this way. Ta-da! Yeah, don't forget to glue it. I will glue it right now. I just want to double check and make sure everything is right, and then I will glue it and put it in. In fact, we can glue it right away, so why wait? So let's see which way I'm gonna glue it. I'm gonna put the glue at this part right here. Ah, that's a lot of glue, man. This is going to be like permanent setup right there. Yeah, I don't want to do too much because, you know, what if I want to install one more connector? It will become really difficult for me to pull it out. So I'll just push it in. One moment, and at the same time I need an old piece of tissue paper. I got plenty here, making sure the glue doesn't go inside those connectors. I managed to get a little bit glue in that connector right here, so I will just clean it up right away. Okay, and flush with the edges. You don't want to push it too much in. Flushed with edges. So this is this, and this wing is gonna connect here, nice and easy, with those connectors. All right, now comes the other wing, and let's double check. Servo, black and white, black, red and white. Okay, all good. And this is gonna be this way, so I'm just gonna put it in from here. This time I will make sure I'm not pulling on the cable and at the same time pushing it in. So, a moment. There you go. One connector is in. Now notice that this side I didn't do any expansion of the hole. I'm just going with whatever is provided right there. And come on out. There you go. And this is gonna fit this way, so let's add glue right away. And this time, oh, it's already, the glue is already coming out. This time I'm gonna add a little bit, not too much. I said little bit, but that's my little bit, people. So let me just clean up the additional glue, and now pulling these in, just settle this connector in. Once again, make sure, keep cleaning the excess glue and don't let it go in the connectors. Flush to the edges. Good. So these connectors are here, and accordingly, now when I put the wing in, everything will be connected, and we have double checked that everything is working. Now comes the part where you have to add the XT60, which is really a key point. And let's just test the EPO glue first. If EPO glue doesn't work and the XT60 gets pulled out, then we'll go talk about some other solutions. So I'm gonna be extra generous with EPO glue. Now for EPO glue, you should leave it overnight, at least minimum 12 hours for it to, you know, properly settle in. So red and black, that's that. And this side, this time I will try to put some glue at the area here in and add some to XT60 generously. Right there. And once again, I would like to say, if you're really serious about setting your Eachine Airloader neat, clean, and professionally, you have to make full use of this specialized connectors feature provided to you. You have to make full use of this XT60 connectors feature provided to you, all these places. And as you have seen, how easy it was without burning the foam, how easy it was to solder all these cables that I needed, all these connections. It is easy for the XT60 to fit in here. It was easy. However, I have to admit one thing: if someone does not have experience in soldering, you know, they're gonna find it difficult to solder these fine connectors or cables or pins using only the tip of their solder. So if you do not have right skills for soldering, I suggest you go seek professional help. Find someone who has a lot of experience in soldering or much more expert in soldering. You can find such people easily among your friends, or find a hobby shop. They normally have technicians who can help you solder these cables on these pins accordingly. And if you have experience or you want to gain experience, I will say dig in, go ahead, give it a try. I mean, what's the worst you're gonna do is burn some foam, you know, but eventually you will learn to solder it. So once again, if you are serious to set up your Eachine Airloader properly and in a professional way, neat and clean setup, which is going to make your life easier, I would say go for these additional steps and a little bit extra work. But you see, once this is done, okay, once this is done, how easy it becomes. I mean, how easy your life becomes. All you need to do is XT60 to XT60. I'm not gonna push it in because the glue is not dry. When I pull out, the connector is gonna come out. All you need to do is match, hold, push it in, and all your connections are done from wing to the fuselage. And after that, having to have all these connectors, just like this, you can always make connections to receiver or flight controllers the way you want to do. I can use the Y cable to connect two ESCs to one channel, that is channel 3. Ailerons will have another Y cable. Okay, I had to stop the time lapse because here's a very important point that I want to describe. As I mentioned, I soldered these two cables for two ESCs to run on a single channel, that is channel 3. And for that I said I will use a Y cable. Okay, just like this, makes life easier. But one thing you must pay attention to, look at my ESC cables. There are only two wires, okay? White and black. White is signal, black is ground. because I'm using the ESCs, which are opto ESCs, and they are in my wings right here, and they don't have UBEC. This means if I connect the ESCs, servos or receiver is not going to get any 5 volt or 6 volt power, whatever UBEC you have. Normally UBEC has 5 volts. So in order to power the servos, now I have to use another channel, which is kind of free channel, let's say channel 8 on my S-bus receiver, or Futaba, on my Futaba R208 SB receiver, to power the receiver using a UBEC, which will provide 5 volt or 6 volt to receiver, and in turn it will provide power to all my servos and flight controllers, etc. Now there are some ESCs which have built-in UBEC, and they have cable just like this one with the red cable in the middle. We just pick one up, but if you have an ESC like this one, Fly Fun from Hobbywing, it has a built-in BEC 5 volt 2A, and you will see there's a red cable in the middle. So if you have this kind of ESC and you want to connect to Y cable, make sure to take one of the red cables away, or take it out from one of your ESCs and leave only one ESC red cable to power the servos. Don't use both ESCs red cable. I hope my point is very clear. Now things are gonna look easy, the connections. This is the ESC. 2 ESC go to channel 3 because Futaba channel 3 is throttle. Aileron using Y cable come here, and they are connected to specialized connectors, and the specialized connectors are going to connect to the wings. The specialized connectors and wings and specialized connectors already have all the soldering done properly for this purpose. Now comes the, let's say I mark them, that is the reason I mark them. This is elevator servo, and this is rudder servo. Now without flight controller, this is all you need from this side. Okay, this is all you need from this side. I'll just leave the cables like this on top, and don't forget to have this one on top to secure it, secure the hatch. Good morning and welcome back. So glue has dried overnight, all the connectors are nice and solid. Time for testing the wing and see if the connectors are seating nicely, and if adding and removing the wing is easy, and if the connectors are being pulled out or not. So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, here goes the very first try. XT60 to XT60, push it in, there you go. Okay, connected properly, and now I have to put one screw here. Okay, just like the original system is, that you will secure the wing with one screw. So my XT60 actually seated really nice, and all the connectors are seating really nice. See? Alright, now it's time to pull the wings out, so we'll see. I know, see, now it's a little hard because of the XT60, but when I pull it out, the XT60 stays in there. So EPO glue only worked very well. And also notice that the specialized connector is also seated in properly, did not get pulled out. And come on, there you go. This wing comes out, and you can see XT60 seats still there, and this one is still there, nice and solid. So it's successful. This feature is easy to use, very easy to solder. All the connectors on the fuselage side, all you need to do is pull this one out and solder your connectors properly. Solder cables on XT60, then put the cables in and solder another connector. And this one, which was in question from some of mindless people who were saying that this is useless to have, that it is difficult to solder. Well, people, see, I didn't even burn foam. The only burn I see is on the wood right here where I touched my solder iron. But my foam nowhere you can see any burn marks. It was super easy to solder these cables and additional connectors. So if you're gonna solder more, it's gonna be a piece of cake, and obviously you're gonna make your life easier. I can tell you now, I feel that, you know, my ESC on twin motor configuration and servos and everything, all I need to do is seat the connectors properly, push the wing in, and that's it. So once again, here you go. There you go. Alright, now that the wings are secure, this is going to be my setup. I have a U-back, which is going to power the receiver and servos. Okay, and two of the ESCs are connecting on one channel. And this U-back will be powered off my 4S battery balance port. So I have right here. This is my old setup from the Mini Talon from XUAV. That plane is retired now. And I can move this U-back down here to, you know, make the nose a bit more heavier and be able to balance the plane properly. So it's time to power the plane and see if everything is working and if there's any magic smoke or not. Okay, my table is getting smaller for this plane, so I put it on the stool down here, and it's time to power it on and see if everything is working properly.
Welcome back, alishanmao. Fly it like you stole it. Have fun.
Yeah, baby, I'm gonna definitely fly it like I stole it. Alright, so for now, where is that connector, that 4S battery balance port? So I'm gonna, you know, power the U-back out of it. My U-back can handle up to 25 volts. Okay, so I'm not worried about that. So first off, power the servos and check. Let me see, where's this servo? I don't hear this one. Maybe it's just me. Nah, it's working. It's working. So both aileron servos working, elevator I can see, and rudder servo moving. Awesome. Now it's time to power the the ESCs. As you have seen throughout my build, I was very careful about red to black, red to black. Okay, so it's time to find out if all of our efforts. So it's time to find out if all my careful efforts are going to bring us a sweet fruit or not. So here we go. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yeah, both motors powered. Oh, just a moment. Let me throttle calibrate. So I have to put the throttle to top, to full, connect, 2 beeps, throttle down. Good. Time to test. Awesome, man, awesome. Now, what I want to do is, I want to spin this one clockwise and this one counterclockwise. So check, let's check. Counterclockwise. And clockwise. So actually I can keep it this way because this prop is going to spin this way and this prop is going to spin that way. It means outward. Both are spinning in opposite direction. I can easily keep it this way or I can keep it inward. It does not actually matter. So I'm happy that everything is working properly. Now next step, of course, are simple steps. I need to add connecting rods, connect these connecting rods to surfaces, trim the plane out right here by my eyesight, add the propellers, bring it out, and we can enjoy a beautiful flight of twin motor configuration of Eachine Airloader. So thank you very much for watching this lengthy video. I hope you have learned how to properly set up your Eachine Airloader with twin motor configuration. So if you like this video, give it a big thumb up and share it with your friends on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that little bell icon, stay updated for all the upcoming new uploads, including the flight of twin motor configuration of Eachine Airloader. Come on, you know what to do. Hit that like button. It's right there. I know you can do it. Oh, while you're at it, also hit the subscribe button. Right there. Come on, don't be shy. Just hit it. Thank you very much for all your support towards my work, that I post regular and fresh content on my channel just for you. Hit that like button right there.